I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Just not
the
with
wrong
rocks.
the wrong kind, yeah.
Yeah, spin with rubber.
Thursday evening, 15 teams here in the field in Beaumont, and looking for one of 6 spots here in the playoff round. Yoshimura qualified last night through the C event. Kate Cameron, that we're featuring in this game as well, qualified through the B earlier on yesterday. The 2 A event qualifiers go right through to the semifinals. The winner of this game will play against Wang later. Now, if you were with us last week for the men's, you saw that the 2 C event qualifiers actually ended up in the finals. Sometimes there can be a bit of advantage to playing some extra games, especially early in the season. And for those A event qualifiers that are set through to the semifinal, they qualified Friday night. They didn't play yesterday at all, and they're not playing this morning. So we'll see how that plays out. We've got a game ahead of that to figure out how things are going. And we did start out in the middle of this first end. They got going quick. They tend to get going quick here in Beaumont. And when you know the winner's got to play again in 3 hours, they're not dawdling.
By the looks of it, Shawn, Cameron has the hammer, I believe.
Yeah, I'm trying to count rocks too. It would be nice if they'd lay them out for us. Yes, Cameron has the hammer, actually. That's guaranteed, I think about it. Through the preliminary round, you have your practice session before the game, and then they draw to the button. Here in the playoffs, the higher-seeded team automatically has the hammer. Cameron came through the B, so she's got the hammer here in the first end. Throwing the yellows. Yoshimura looking for the hit at the back. And will hang on for a bite at the back 12.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the other rock is in play. Or it's in play, but not in the rings.
Yeah.
So Cameron's been, she's no stranger to the women's elite curling. I remember watching her when she was with, Marg Inglis? She was throwing third rocks for Marg.
Okay. My first recollection of her, I actually played against her at national doubles, and it is probably before most people outside of Manitoba knew who she was. That was 2015, and I was really impressed by her then. And then she played with Michelle Englot, who I know.
Michelle.
Well. Yeah,
sorry, I just called her Marg. Oh my gosh.
That probably will bother her less than calling her Inglis, because there's there's an Inglis family in Saskatchewan that she's had to play against for so many years.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I watched kind of this competitive women's at that level live. They were in St. Catharines for the Scotties, and I believe that was the year that Rachel beat her in just an unbelievable final.
Yeah, that could be my recollection of that particular event, watching it, and I think that was the first time they went. And Kate Cameron was, that was the first time I could remember thinking it's unfortunate the way they picked the All-Stars at the Scotties, because it's all by shooting percentage. Well, Rachel plays a fairly wide open game, and your shooting percentages are going to be relatively high in that type of game because of the degree of difficulty. Michelle Englot, on the other hand, played a very aggressive style at that time, and I thought watching all week long that in that particular Scotties, Kate Cameron stood out above the rest of the field. She just had a fantastic week. She was probably the best player in the event, and she didn't get the All-Star nod because her percentage wasn't as high, but the degree of difficulty on her shots was much higher than for a team that played it open. That, I think, was kind of her coming out party to the whole nation. I mean, everybody knew who she was after that. She had just a spectacular week.
Yeah. So we're down here to just the final stone of the first end, and she's obviously looking for a blank here.
Yeah, we happen to see even though we weren't on the air, we could see this developing early on in the end. It only takes one to slide into the rings. Kate Cameron was willing to play a completely open end here, and that may come back to when you see some of these top teams playing nowadays. We used to play, it was, and my playing days are a little bit behind me, but we'd worry about who had last rock and even end by about the sixth end of an 8-end game. They're thinking about it in the first here. So they get a blank here in the first. Now they've got hammer in the even end. That's exactly where they want to be. We've got no score through one. Kate Cameron, Sayaka Yoshimura. Cameron will have last rock again in a second.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
Usually still. Second end just underway. Kate Cameron with last rock, throwing the yellows again. Center guard was thrown up to start the end. And now asking lead Mackenzie Elias to come around. Second on the team is Brianna Cullen. Third, Taylor McDonald. Kate Cameron the skip. Brianna, the new player on the team this year. The other three were all together last year. Taylor McDonald was playing second last year. She's moved up to play third when they moved Brianna in. That stone slides to the back 8 foot, so Anna Omiya being asked to come down, sit in front of it. The second for the Yoshimura team is Keiho Onodera. The third is Yuna Kotani, and of course the skip, Sayaka Yoshimura. And I apologize, and I will apologize many times, likely, for any of the names that I have mispronounced. I do the best I can. Nice draw there. It gets just to the top corner of the button. It is behind cover.
I'm just glad that you had to pronounce those names, because I was impressed. I don't think I could have come that close.
Well, I cheat a little bit, I will tell you that. And this is the third game that I've had for that team. But if you type it in, the internet's a wonderful thing, right?
Yeah.
Type it into Google and say, how do I pronounce this?
That's right.
You've got a chance. Now it's probably not 100% accurate. If the name and the game we're doing here today, these happen to be Japanese names, but if it doesn't matter what country, if the name is an actual word in that language, you got a pretty good chance you're going to get the right pronunciation. If it's not, if it's just a surname, then the pronunciation on screen is probably a guess anyway, because I've clicked on a few of those before, and you click on 3 different ones and you will get 3 different pronunciations. But you do the best you can. It's when we're not there in person. We are broadcasting remotely here, so I don't have the chance to talk to the players and ask them, which I've had to do at Saskatchewan provincials with players that I should know. So if you can't ask them directly,
That's
you've got to do the best you can. Oh, this is a nice freeze coming in here. She wanted to get just across the face. She does.
Really good finish on those rocks.
Kate Cameron looking for the peel on the guard now. Did the quick count, the quick skips count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can peel the guard now. We better do that. Things in the house not looking good for her. She does have last rock here.
And it looks like called and made.
Make the peel, roll the shooter all the way out of play. Situation in the house is pretty good for Yoshimura, though, so just looking to replace the guard now. Actually, she's got shot rock, and she's got the good angle on the other red-yellow.
Yes, real good.
She could, in theory, guard this right through, even to her last stone. She's in a steal position right now. Kate Cameron, you have to expect, will peel a couple of guards here, wait for possibly a bit of a mistake, but if she doesn't get that bit of a mistake, well, and yeah, as soon as I say that, they're going to slide into the rings.
Yeah, that's just real good finish, though, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You haven't seen it. It's amazing, and this camera angle, and I keep, boasting about it. It gives you such a good view at home of how much curler is, probably even better than what they see on the ice, because you watch that rock, it's out there, it's out there, it's out there. You can see where it is when it crosses the hog line, and yet there it is on the center line when it stops.
Yeah.
Like, it's all the movement here is late. If you're coming close by a guard, you're out in the open on the other side. So that helps with some of this aggressive play, because the players know that there's not a shot in the books they can't make, right?
Right.
You come around the guard and they can still get to it, whereas on straighter ice, that can get scary. And when they feel like the rocks and the ice will give them all the shots, they will play aggressively, and that makes it far more entertaining for us to watch.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to watch when it's up, down, straight.
Yeah, because everybody's afraid to play a come around, right?
That's right.
If you play the come around and you can't get there, then you might leave a hit and roll in behind for the other team, and that might be the easiest way to get there. So you hate to leave them an easier shot than what they got if you just don't throw.
That's right. I just love watching this finish here.
I'm used to it now on this sheet, or on this particular rink, because I saw the men's last week, and I'm watching the women's all week this week. But I'll tell you what, the first few rocks you watched come down when you watched them, because they were straight hanging. Some of them would look like they're still on the corner guard, then they'd start to move, and you're watching it almost looked like it picked. Well, now you've seen it so many times that it's comfortable. Probably was an issue for the players the first couple of times they saw it too. We did see some over curls. We saw some teams early in the event that when they're throwing those center guards, we're having a hard time holding the center. They'd over curl the center line, and that's important. We're playing the no tick zone here too, so you want to be touching that center line. That's right. Takes them a couple of games to get used to it, and then they handle it pretty well after that. And it's not even the throwers, it's the line callers and the brushers, because they slide so far at the end, and they're curling so hard, and it's real easy to you oversweep it a little bit and it curls 3 inches too far because it just doesn't stop. It's great. It's great ice. It's just once they adjust to it, they'll make everything. But it's getting trusted.
That's right. That's why I had to back off curling. The ice got too good. I didn't have those excuses.
Looking to replace the guard again. Now this one's a little bit higher. I was thinking about that myself. We're down to third's last stone. Kate's thinking about making a play directly on shot rock here. It's getting to the point in the end where she's going to have to make a play pretty soon because there's nothing good in the house for her now. She's going to make the play on shot rock now. Yoshimura has the good angle on the red yellow at the top of the forefoot, so even if you make this, she comes around, taps red onto yellow, and she's still sitting one, maybe two, depending where you roll with this, partially behind cover. And you've still only got 2 shots left to deal with it, so you can't peel the guard forever. It's higher. Taylor McDonald going to make a play directly on shot rock here.
And this should really curl at the end.
Yeah, from just about 5 to 10 feet outside the hog line where it starts. And
looks real good.
And stays in the forefoot. That's important.
Now the only, I guess, problem for Cameron is that red can easily be promoted.
It can.
And she's got both turns to play with here. She can play the tap on the red and set that in a pocket, and she's also got the shot that she's obviously chosen to play.
She's going to want to hit this right on the nose. You got to be careful if you're a little bit to the broom side and you roll over a few inches. You'll leave a double. Leave a double on the reds.
And that yellow, that's kind of, I don't know if it's first shot or second shot, that it probably spins back onto that back red one too.
Yeah, if you're on the outside a fair bit, she'd roll too far, I think, then to leave the double. But
yeah.
she'd be out of the forefoot. It wouldn't likely factor into this end.
Yeah.
There's actually, as I'm looking at it, because of the late finish, and you just saw it on the last attempt, she could get to the inside of that yellow, roll over into the side of her red just a couple of inches, and angle it a little better. This is not
on
the
red.
Guard.
Yeah.
She was maybe playing aggressively to get that little nudge on the red stone to give it angle to go by the back red one, and not able to get by the guard.
No.
Still, that red stone at the top of the forefoot is a problem for
sure.
Kate Cameron, and what do you do about it?
You still got to be careful, though. I mean, she tops that. She hits that red one up top. I mean, that yellow one's still coming back, I think, for the most part, on that red one in the back 8 foot. But
it's hard to tell how direct. It's going to hit it.
Yeah, I think now it's looking at do I want to kind of really gamble here and make a big score, or do I want to try and sit one by when I play my last shot and work on my second score.
So it looks like what the call is here, they're going to try to get just by the red stone at the top of the forefoot, kind of sit in the pocket of the 2 yellows, which you look at the hack view camera and you're looking, well, there is no pocket between the 2 yellows because of where the red is, but it will move enough at the end. She might have to just chisel off her own stone, and that was part of the discussion as well, but if she can get a piece of their shooter underneath the red, now it's a little harder for Yoshimura to do anything with that red. She can run it, but if it touches the edge of this stone, it probably spins out of the forefoot.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, once you get this frozen in that pocket, it's not going anywhere.
I think she's forced to play this because I think her opponent comes down and moves that yellow one, and Kate's going to really have a hard time getting to.
Yeah, the only other thing I'm seeing is if you could move the red yellow somehow to break up that angle, but I don't see how you do that well. Like this is going to drastically over curl.
Yeah. Yeah, really over curling.
Yeah, they're kind of at a loss. They don't know what to do with that. You sweep that back to where it is, and now there's a wall behind the red. Cameron does sit too, so Yoshimura's going to have to make a play on something. If she had the chance to hold her to 1, she might be okay. She's not really okay with holding her to 2. She's going to try to find a way to cut this down.
Yeah, I think she'd be very happy if she got out of this just giving up 1.
Yeah, how are you doing that? She's looking at it. Yeah. You could play the hit on the yellow that she's talking about, but I saw them gesture with the brooms. You got to be careful because it's real easy to hit that stone and leave a double on the reds. Right now, if you don't throw, Kate Cameron can't get that stone at the top of the 4-foot out. But if you give her one beside it that she can come off of and kick it out sideways, well, then she can get it out. I think if they're hitting this yellow, they got to be trying to roll a little bit to the center line side.
I would think so. I don't know what kind of weight she's throwing here, but I mean, I would think that she's going to throw it somewhat controlled.
Yeah. Quiet. A little less ice than she had on the last one, so maybe
That's
just
right.
a hair harder than that one, but Sayaka Yoshimura with her final stone here in the second.
They're going to have to go hard on this, I think. This is close to the... Oh,
she's good.
She's got it. She's got it. Nice
she
shot.
Did throw a little more weight at that one, and
yeah,
it's there for 3, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, she'll hit the one full 4-foot first, and then have her shooter come into the side of the other rock, and really, she only needs to move it a couple of inches.
That's correct, yeah.
If at all. Kate maybe thinking she's going to have to touch that other yellow stone. I don't think she does. If you get to the inside of that red that was just thrown, I don't think it touches the yellow that's biting the button.
No, it doesn't. I don't think there's any way it touches that. And she's thinking probably the same thing.
She might not even have to touch that other red. It's hard to tell. Because of the graphics, and I love the graphics. The
yeah, I know.
House looks fantastic. It's nice to have those. It attracts the younger fans, but it makes it for us a little hard to tell when you got a rock that's on the dinosaur's jaw there.
That's
just
right.
Exactly how much of the 4-foot it has. Kate might already be sitting third, and if that's the case, she just needs to clear the yellow with this stone, and it would be a shot for 3.
Yeah, because like you say with the graphics, it's hard to even tell if she knows that, whether she'd get 2. This is looking awful good.
Yeah, they held the line enough to make sure they weren't going to crash the first red one.
Oh, yeah, it looks like 2.
She's got 2 for sure.
Having a good look. Oh, we're going to have
Well, I thought 2 for sure.
Yeah, no, it looks like they're measuring for 2.
Yeah. It's that same issue though for them that it is for us with that. With the multiple colors running through the 4-foot, it's hard to get a good visual judge of just how far in they are. On the one hand, nice that we get to watch the measure. On the other hand, if they don't point at it, we still aren't going to know.
Yellow
point.
Yeah, point yellow.
It's 2. Kate Cameron with the nose hit on her final picks up 2 points with the hammer here in the second end. She's got a 2-0 lead. Sayaka Yoshimura will have last rock. in the third.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
I don't care what the stats say.
Well, the stats say right now that Kate Cameron's up by 2 as we begin play here in the third end.
Yeah, that was a well played end for Team Cameron.
First stone of this third end brought into the top of the 8-foot. Yoshimura asking for the corner guard from Anna Omiya.
So hopefully this means game on.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt they're going to play game on. The question will be, and it's only a 2-point gap, will be whether or not she throws 2 corner guards. And I don't think she will when she's only 2 down. It's you play that aggressively here in the third end and it turns into a steal, and now you're in trouble.
Yeah. And that's a well-placed corner guard covering parts of the 8-foot.
Kenzie Elias with a nice draw in her first one, so now being asked to guard it with the second. And it's all scoreboard dictated, but there's a few strategies that you'll see, scripts almost, as to how these ends start.
Yeah.
Kate Cameron, knowing that Yoshimura needs guards, throws the first one into the rings. Corner guard goes up. If it was a more lopsided game, if it was a 4-point lead or something like that, she would know that Yoshimura was going to throw the second guard. She would have called for the second one right into the rings. She played the guard here. It overcurled. It's not a threat for Yoshimura at this point in time, so they're going to try to use their corner guard. Same thing on the corners that you see coming through the middle. It needs to have a lot of room at the hog line. This is a little tight. They almost have to back off on the brushes now because it's going to come out the open on the other side of that guard.
Yeah.
Full 12, not shot rock. Not that mattered. The important thing there was to bury that stone.
Yeah, she's almost right out to the 12-foot.
Yeah. And actually where it ended up, it's a pretty good spot for Yoshimura because she's left it staggered on the front guard, and it's high enough in the rings on this ice. She could come around that again in front of the tee line if she gets the opportunity. And you get 2 rocks around your own corner, then there's a chance for 3.
Yeah. So. This is much better line. Well, a little short maybe. I got 17.5 on that.
Oh, you got the watch out. This is the difficulty that you can have when you're trying to throw a guard on an existing rock, and they called for that guard a little bit tighter than that.
Yeah.
So once you put the broom down, when it curls that hard that late, if your weight doesn't match, if you're calling for a halfway guard and this one's a little bit higher, it doesn't have enough time to curl. So it didn't get to the line that they needed. If you're playing on ice where the rocks curl a little bit more gradually all the way down, a lot of times it's just an area play, right? You put the broom down and it curls gradually all the way down, and and they pretty much all end up in the same place. When the movement is so big, so late, if you've called for a tight guard and you put the broom down for a tight guard, that's where it has to be, or it won't have curled far enough.
That's right.
I thought they might look at playing the port here. It looks to me like it's there, but they're going to play the short run. The guard is still oh no, they are playing the port.
Ooh, it didn't miss that. Okay, good. I thought they were playing the double.
Yeah, it was probably just we don't have mics on the players, and actually the viewers at home might be able to hear the ice sounds. We don't hear them in our headsets right now, but a lot of times these players will discuss all the options. So I think it was probably just one of those things where they gestured that this is a possibility, but they were playing. It looked like they were playing the port all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Forces Brianna Cullen to come from the other direction to put up the guard this time and hopefully not leave a port. Line looks pretty good for that.
Just got to finish it hard here. That's real well done.
You see the difference in what I'm talking about with that one. That rock is where they tap the ice for depth, and so it had time to curl to exactly where they wanted it. Guards are not just an area play on it, which I like. It makes it, there's a little bit more skill involved and more precision to throw a guard when you've got this late movement.
Yeah.
Which is good. That helps the cream rise to the tops, so to speak. Looking to run it onto the stone in the rings, goes just past it. The shooter will roll. Still in play, but not really covering any portion of the rings.
And I think Yoshimura's got to be pleased that shot stone that is being guarded here, it's in the 8 foot. It's, she's still got lots of room.
She does. I'm just kind of eyeing it up as, the skip's brain in me trying to figure out when you make the other move.
That's right.
Cameron's going to throw one more guard. We're on third's first stone here. You may see Yoshimura try one more peel. But if you throw another guard after this one, I think she's coming right around everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think playing this, she's going to have to play it across the top of the one in the house, and I think you don't.
Ideally, yeah. You make the double across the top, and you roll your shooter off the center line. Yuna Kotani. One brush down, but just cleaning. This is close.
Yep. Oh, she's got a great shot. Well done. A little bit of exuberation there from the thrower, too.
And not that you'd ever worry about when you made a shot like that. You try to make it any time in the end, but
that's right.
you make it on third's first stone. So now there's just 3 stones left for Cameron to come, and Yoshimura's in a really good spot, and you don't have a lot of time to get out of it now.
Yeah.
You're chasing around a corner guard here. Well, she's not chasing the shot rock. She's trying to bury behind it, but this is not a shot you really want to be playing without last rock.
Yeah.
Playing into your opponent's hand here. And she doesn't have a choice.
And it looks like it's got some good line and good weight. Yeah, well done.
Does slide just behind the tee line. I don't know how she could have done much better with it. There's still a shot there available for Yoshimura. They're looking to play it with enough weight to pass that through the 12-foot sit too.
She probably has to move it 2.5 feet.
Just trying to convince herself where the broom has to be. She knows, you saw her gesture, this is where we'd need it if we were playing cold draw. How much less do I have to take with that 4 feet extra weight?
Always found too with right-handed throwers on this side of the center line, you tend to pop it.
Like that.
Yeah.
A lot of these players have taught themselves to do that because they're used to playing on ice with this much swing. And if you don't do that, you can lose them. This line looks really good coming in.
It does, yeah.
Now, does she have enough weight to get it all the way out of the 12 foot?
Yep. Great shot.
Just passes it through the back of the rings. Shooter rolled over a bit, so there's probably room for Kate to make a similar play and get under cover. Looks like with that broom placement, she's thinking about playing a little bit more weight, although Kate's got a very pronounced pop on her outturn in it, and she knows it, so she ices for it. But she would like to roll dead buried. In fact, maybe even a little bit over buried, so that Yoshimura can't corner freeze on it.
Yeah.
Has to be shot rock, but she'd like to absolutely lose this behind the guards if she could.
This might have a little bit more weight than she anticipated.
She'll make the hit, passes it through the rings, but her shooter stays right there. That's interesting. You saw, I was just going to discuss it because that's what we do. We get to talk about it. But I thought, well, does she try to roll all the way under? Does she try? And she's talking about trying to roll open.
Open. Yeah,
just to make the roll behind cover a little tougher, knowing that if it's different for the two teams, right? Kate was trying to absolutely lose it to mean that she couldn't give up any more than 2.
Mm-hmm.
You could do that here with Yoshimura. You could do the same thing. Try to roll fully into the edge of the 12 foot. It's completely behind cover. She wouldn't be able to hit anything. But if she makes the draw, maybe she gets herself out of jail. You roll into the open, and you feel pretty good that you're going to have some kind of shot for 2, even if she rolls buried. If she rolls buried behind the yellow guard, it's an awfully long guard.
Yeah. Well, she's not tight.
No. She's not heavy either, though. This is getting close to the nose.
Yeah,
she'll get
much good nose.
She'll get a little roll. I still think for Kate, her best bet is to try to roll behind the wall of guards, the red ones.
Yes. And she's got a lot of room to roll too.
She does, and she can get the force that way. You don't certainly expect to get the steal. If you might be watching at home thinking, well, wouldn't she roll into the 4 foot behind her own guard? If her own guard was tighter to the rings, she might.
Mm-hmm.
But on this ice, with the amount of curl there is, even with the weight like what we just saw, if you rolled behind a guard that tight, or that high, pardon me, Yoshimura could probably come tight by the guard and pick up her deuce.
This has got a curl if she wants to get the roll.
And that's why they're sweeping from the other side. This is close.
Starting to try.
Got a little bit of roll, but still in the open. So Yoshimura will have a chance to hit for 2 here in this third end, and we could be all tied up again.
Starting from scratch.
3 ends have decided absolutely nothing.
Now you're getting ahead of yourself. But I like the probability. Little little slap on the hand before we
Yeah,
throw.
this is my third game watching them, and they always do that. And every time the way it's and that's fine, have your ritual. But every time the way they do it, it looks like, oh, I forgot to do this because it's late. It's late. It's after she stood up and she's looked down, but it's that way every time. So I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah, this looks pretty good. Yep. Good call, Shawn. Good call.
Yoshimura with the hit. She picks up the deuce. We're all tied up after 3 ends of play. Kate Cameron, Sayaka Yoshimura, quarterfinals from the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
All tied up here as we begin the 4th end. Tight game in this quarterfinal, and this is how you expect it to be once you get down to Sunday. All of these teams playing well. They've all managed to qualify. Kate Cameron with last rock as we begin play here in the 4th end of a tie game. Center guard thrown to start things off by Yoshimura. And again, Mackenzie Elias looking to come around. She'll bring that around the guard. Bites the 8-foot, dead behind cover. Might have liked to have been maybe a rock's width or 2 deeper, just to make this a little tougher. And I say that, I know that can almost sound silly at home, but if you've been with us all week or the last 2 weeks here from Beaumont, even Terry, just watching this one game, you've got to realize a guard in the top of the 8-foot like that, it can still be used as a guard. The late finish is such a treat. Like, I've seen rocks in the last 2 weeks where you're coming by a stone like that, you're still in front of the tee line buried. And this is going to be close to that. Just didn't have quite the legs to get to the button, so it stays 3/4 out in the open. A little risky to make a play at it. We are 5 rock free guard zone as always, and I think the no tick zone is pretty much going to be standard now. It's being used in all playdowns. I don't think there's any events that aren't using it anymore. You might not be using it in your club play, but so it makes it a little trickier to go after a stone like this. You have to be careful. Terry, I'm sure you've done it too. Without the no tick zone, a lot of times you'll play a shot like this and you tight ice it a little bit, and you think, well, as long as we hit something. Well, you can't do that now, because if you happen to hit the guard, it goes back, your shooter is removed, it's like an absolute miss.
Yeah, it's like putting a rock in the back of a hack there.
Should be by the front one, but I don't know if they're by their own stone.
Real close.
Just touches it. enough to push it out in the open. Now it's their own stone and it was in the rings, but there's a good example of what I was just talking about. If that's the guard as you come by it, she only moved that a few inches. But if that was your opponent's guard, you moved it that far, it would go back. So it makes those shots a little riskier to attempt.
Yeah, and I think you've seen through the evolution of the curling here. I mean, at one point, you just guard that, and now everybody's just so precise of where they want that guard, whether you want it real tight, whether you want it halfway, whether you want to cover one side versus the other. So I think over the last 15 years. We've really gotten to, and that comes from the coaching as well. But
it comes out of, I think, also necessity to do with, and I'm going to say the equipment more than it's not the equipment they bring to the ring, it's the rock.
Yes.
I was involved in setting up the Players Association here in Saskatchewan. It was back in the very early 2000s, and one of the first things we were hearing from the players, we had to do more with the ice. We were playing on straight ice, and we still use the phrase straight ice.
Mm-hmm.
But what we know now, it's not really the ice.
That's right.
The rocks will curl, it's got nothing to do with the ice, and it makes perfect sense when you think about it. The ice isn't what curls, it's the rock. So if the rock will give you curl, it changes things. And back to what you were just saying about how precise they are with the guards, when the ice curls this much, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but you have to be precise with your guards, because if you don't put it at the depth you were looking at, you can't just lob them over when these rocks curl this aggressively this late.
That's right.
Because you won't be in the right spot. You have to. You're playing a guard to a spot now, not just an area.
Like this one is just going to over curl by the looks of it. Yeah. Ooh. That's unfortunate.
It's interesting because it looks like a huge hole, and it is to come through and make the hit. But how do you make the roll?
Yeah.
There's air on either side, but once you're by the guard, it's going to curl to the nose. You almost have to curl across it, right?
Well, I like this turn on this shot.
So looking to play the out turn through the hole as it comes between the two guards, it's probably going to be dead lined up to that stone, and they'll hope it curls off the nose enough to get the guard, or to get the roll behind the guard.
Yeah, she popped that, got it out.
Looking for curl just to get by the outside guard.
Oh, she's by, yeah.
You would not have thought she could have rolled past the
No,
guard during that turn.
That's right.
Cameron sits 2. She does have last rock here at the fourth end. Monadera looking to roll back behind cover here. Line's close. Oh, did they lose it? It's going to roll.
Good shot.
Just dead behind cover. Maybe can see a sliver of it.
Yeah, that would be about all.
That's probably enough on this ice. She actually, to leave that rock where it was going to be tough to get at it, she almost needed to be dead behind the Yellowstone, not dead behind the guard.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean this is an easy shot, but it's a possible shot, so they're gonna take a run at it. Even if she crashes the yellow, there's a chance she just splits the yellow, rolls her shooter in behind the corner guard, and that might be an okay result for Kate Cameron here too. There's a lot of good things that can happen here. We're on the brush early to hold the line. Curling now by the yellow one.
Yeah, great shot. Really good. Great weight control.
And enough to get it all the way out of the rings at the back. Still in play. Just where, as we like to say, it's something for somebody to trip over later on.
That's right.
I say that as a joke, but you'd be surprised how many times you will see they forget about those rocks back there.
Yeah, I'm guilty.
And it's usually me too. It's usually the skip because you're backing up, forgetting there's a rock behind you because it's not in the rings.
That's right.
This is going to be tight to the guard.
Yeah, by a mile.
Good.
Come on,
You guys are using a different system of measurement out there.
oh dear.
That's one where I've had it happen before, and we all have when I'm skipping and somebody's throwing and they're not making the same call as I am.
Yeah.
And you get by like that, and I'll tell them, well, next time close the other eye. Because the one you were using wasn't the one we want to rely on. Did roll fully into the open, so a chance now for Taylor McDonald. If she can roll behind cover, 3's in play, and this line looks pretty good.
Yeah, real good.
She's going to get a bit of a roll.
Yeah.
Oh, dead behind. Trouble for Sayaka Yoshimura.
Yeah, I love the weight choice there.
I don't even know with the amount of curlers, I don't think she could even play the freeze to that through the middle, because by the time you're by the center guard, I think you'd overcurl the rock in the rings. So she's looking at a run. And I think looking for some input from the other end. Do they like the straight back run or the angle at the one that was just thrown? And the reason you'd look at the angle run is if you don't hit anything in the rings playing the angle run, at least the one in the middle is open on the next one.
Mm-hmm.
You tend to think with this one, she's, look at where the broom is, she's going to be throwing some weight at this. So she hits it far enough off the nose that she's not hitting the one behind it. She's going to roll off as well.
Yeah, she called peel weight here.
Yeah. The only problem with this shot, if you make it perfect and dead stick it, you're still not shot rock. And Cameron comes in again and still has a shot for 3. Really working to hold the line, but it's over curled, and that was the reason why you throw that kind of weight. If you've hit it far enough off the center to miss the rock in the rings, you're rolling well out of play. You're going to have room to make some kind of a hit on the next one.
Yeah, now Kate's just trying to determine whether she really wants to go balls in here.
It's not even about what you can make here as much as what you can leave. And
There
is a double there, but it's really thin, and it's risky for Yoshimura to go after it. If you try to come around the corner guard, you can actually leave a much easier double. And potentially, I guess, a triple. So she's going to come open side and try to leave this. You can almost draw a triangle with the yellow stones, and there won't be an easy double. I mean, there's going to be doubles there.
Yeah, you can't take everything away.
No. And you're hoping with something like this that she's not going to try the double behind cover, because there's a risk of not getting the second rock, and she's giving up 3, and you'd like to keep her playing on the open side here. As long as she's playing something in the open, you know you got a shot for at least 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to touch that. Oh, that's not bad.
Touch it just enough to redirect the shooter, and it comes back to the back 12. And as we said, there's no easy doubles there.
None. Our other quarterfinal has Sturmey up 2-1 on, and I'm going to butcher this, Tabata,
I believe it is.
Tabata? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 15 teams here began play Thursday afternoon, and a strong international contingent. I think, if I remember right, they did check initially. There were 6 international teams, and 4 of them here in the 6 qualifiers. So, yeah, and part of that is you expect it, because the teams that are going to go to the trouble of coming all the way over here to play, they're good teams.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm wondering if it's real early in the season over here, but I mean, would there be any kind of practice facilities over in that neck of the woods that would have ice?
I can't speak to all of them. I've called games for a couple of the Japanese teams. There's three of them here, or were three of them here,
Yeah.
and I can't just remember which one of them was. One of them had played in 3 events in Japan before they came over. Even Yoshimura has played in Japan before she came over. This is her 6th event of the season.
Wow.
And one of the other teams, it was their 6th event as well. They had played 3 in Japan and then came and played 2 in Ontario and then here. And that's a huge advantage for these teams in an event like this too, because they're playing a lot of teams that are in their first event. And they're really, by the time you're 6 events in, this is mid-season for these guys.
Yeah, she seems to be all in on this end in terms of trying to steal one by coming down and playing this freeze. This looks heavy.
She can afford to tap it a little bit. It's whether or not she rolls into the open that's the problem, and I think it did. So Kate Cameron, a chance to come down, quiet wait. I don't know if she can get across the nose, get under cover. Probably doesn't even want to. If you get under cover on this one, it leaves that double off the top stone that might be buried.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think she wants to hit half a rock and drive this back onto her own.
No, true.
She got that out there.
Yeah, here she's very quiet though.
Yeah. Here it comes. This is good. This is good. Well done. What tremendous control of that weight.
Yeah. Now, what do you do if you're Sayaka Yoshimura?
I think it's Sunday. This might be a time for a prayer or two. Yeah, there's really no easy kind of out here. I was just going to say, you can't even come and freeze on that shot rock. Although that might be...
Well, if you freeze to the shot rock, I think you're third.
Yeah, you probably are.
You might have a double off the shot rock, but that's still going to be giving up 3 because you're going to roll over open somewhere.
Yeah.
This is all kinds of risky because there's 2 yellows that they can use to tap it back. You can get at second shot rock on the in-turn and try to roll under cover, but you're behind 2 yellow stones that Kate Cameron could try to run back for 4.
Yeah, I definitely like being yellow here.
Yeah, we've got it's an old joke, and it's based on a player a lot of us know when we're doing the Saskatchewan games here. And you look at a house like this, and if you're throwing red, it's, well, who ordered all these lemons?
That's right.
She's got a couple of choices for ways to make doubles.
Yes.
Neither one of them are. I mean, they're not gimme doubles, and even if you make the double, there's a chance you're giving up 3. So that's why it's not a comfortable. If she had an obvious double and it looks like you're giving up 3 anyway, she'd just play it. But this is still a very thin double. Now there's actually a chance it might be a triple, because you're going to come into the top of that yellow and maybe it clips the one at the back of the 8 foot as well on the way by. but you almost have to flirt with not hitting the first rock at all. It's so thin.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what she's playing. It looks like she's trying to make the double.
She's playing the thin double on the stone at the top, I think. And coming into the second one, and what they're trying to line up is there's a chance to make the triple that way.
I think she's playing. I think she's playing shot rock. I think she's playing
straight
rock.
double. Yeah, maybe. They talked about both. This is not a gimme double either, and you're rolling probably right. Well, with that broom, she's maybe throwing a little more weight. I was going to say you're probably rolling square behind that other yellow stone, making the run for 3 pretty easy. So, facing 4, looking for a double just to cut the damage.
I think she's got the double.
Makes the hit. It's pretty solid on the second one, but it has enough to spin it all the way out the back of the rings. Shooter rolls out of play as well. Kate Cameron will have the opportunity here to simply draw any piece of the rings. Will get her 3 points. Wow, we had an open first end, and then no shortage of offense since then.
That's right. That's right. And I don't think she really had much of a choice. I mean, it was make a double and, take your medicine.
Yeah, the shot for the triple was so tough because she had to hit that first one so thin, and there's a risk there, right? Are you trying to hit anything that thin? What if you go by it, and then it's 5?
Yeah.
If you throw it to make sure that you make contact with the first one, if you hit it too thick, you go across the top of the second one. It's 4. That was the easiest double she had, and doubles aren't easy no matter what. But it was a good angle for the hit to make the double. The problem was she couldn't save the shooter. They looked at everything, couldn't find anything better. Played the double, made it. Kate Cameron follows it up with a nice draw of her own, picks up 3 points. We've got a barn burner here in the quarterfinals. It's 5-2 for Kate Cameron as we go into the 4th end break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Oh, that's good.
5-2 here in this quarterfinal as we're through 4 ends of play. Kate Cameron with the lead. Sayaka Yoshimura will have last rock. Still in the break. Action will resume right after this.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
And the players back to the ice after the break. 5th end about to get underway. If they can remember where they left all the equipment.
Yeah.
Picking up gloves, picking up brooms. Okay, I'm ready. Mackenzie Elias in the hacks with a 3-point lead. Kate Cameron calling for the first stone into the top of the 4-foot.
Yeah, with her lead, she'd like to play in the house as much as possible.
And I wonder if we might be at the point, I talked about it earlier, when they were only 2 down in the third, Yoshimura only threw the 1 corner guard. 3 down, I think you can probably expect that she's going to throw 2.
Yep.
And if you think she's going to throw 2, Kate Cameron's not going to throw a guard on the next one. They're going to come right into the top of the 4-foot again. And they might throw a guard with the 5th stone at the end. There's only just so many scripts that they follow to start out these ends, but
I don't see a lot of double guards in the women's play. Actually, I don't see a whole lot of it in the men's play either, but I see less of it in the women's play.
Until they're down. And then you're thankful that the rule is there to give you that opportunity.
Oh, I know.
So Mackenzie Elias looking to come down again. Doesn't want to be right on top of her stone. Wants to be in the house lined up. And the reason you don't want to be right on top of it is if you freeze to your own, they nose hit it and stay frozen. So you've got to have a little separation here. Not this much separation though. This is...
Yeah, I would have liked that a little tighter.
Yeah, that's a guard. They did not want that. I mean, it does guard shot rock, and it helps them out a little bit because it's still a rock in the middle that Yoshimura is going to have to deal with at some point in time. But you would have liked to get that top 8-foot, maybe just bite a sliver of the 4. You know she's coming around, which is the call here. Coming around or throwing a second guard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could guard.
And she didn't hesitate. She was kind of pretty adamant that, we're going around this.
Part of that, I think, is where the first one ended up. They ended up at a depth that not really conducive to throwing a second guard. It's tough to get separation when you needed the first one tighter if you wanted to throw 2 guards.
Yeah.
Chipped off. They do have 2 corner guards now, but the angle they're at will allow for a double peel. However, at this point, the rule doesn't allow for a double peel. You can't go after the guards yet. Brianna Cullen being asked to come around. This is what's made the game so interesting to watch out of the free guard zone. You have to play other shots until you can deal with the guards. So you see Kate Cameron here. She's not trying to score this in. She's got a 3-point lead. She's just trying to put rocks in the middle where she knows that Yoshimura at some point in time is going to have to deal with these stones.
Yeah. 13-7.
And while Yoshimura is dealing with these stones, she might have the opportunity to play after the corners, and it makes the game of cat and mouse so interesting to watch. Came a little close together there. It's given Yoshimura the possibility of dealing with all 3 of those rocks on the center line with 1 shot. She can hit this just off the broom or just off the nose on the broom side. She can clip both stones in the rings. This may be a little thin. She's going to pass it by the stones in the rings. Keeps her shooter for a corner on the other side, though.
Now, are you surprised that Kate's playing this, or this is kind of her MO?
Well, you're kind of... It's dictated, right? Because they're close together. It's a double and roll behind the corner. It's hard to peel all the corners. The double peel is probably coming back into it. You could peel the tight corner, but if you don't roll back to a center guard. And, I mean, the guard's an easier shot than most of the others she's been looking at. And Yoshimura still has to deal with those rocks in the middle. You can keep her busy for a while in the center.
Yeah.
That's a much higher guard than they would have liked, though.
My team used to always tell me that the guard was the easiest shot, except when I was throwing it.
Well, and it's not as easy anymore because it's not just an area play. It's funny that one overcurled when it's so high, but it's left room for Keho Onodera to try to come down, get to the nose of the yellow. She'll pass the back one through, and she can keep her shooter in front of the yellow shot stone.
Just trying to rearrange a little bit of the furniture by the looks of it. Oh no, that's got a lot more weight than I thought.
Yeah, just enough to pass the back one through the rings.
Yeah.
Cameron's sitting one right now. Looking to come down, sit on the top of it again.
All these rocks have had really good rotation too. It's so impressive to watch. This is where, I mean, it would be so nice to hear the curlers talking, eh?
And I'm sure they are talking from the far end. This does not look makeable. This looks more makeable.
Yeah.
Like by the time she's by that corner guard, to hit that yellow one thin enough to get your shooter into the rings just doesn't look. And I get it. You know, this rock's a little bit overburied. Visually, this doesn't look great either, but the way the ice runs, this is possible, and I'm not sure the other one is. So looking to come down with, it's basically like a split. She's just trying to split that tight guard out of the way and roll her shooter into the rings.
I like this call.
Might be able to get it all the way in behind the corner guard if they're lucky. The tight corner guard on the broom side. I don't think she was wide. They're on the brush right away.
This needs to curl, does it not?
No, I don't think so. It actually probably could have used a little bit more weight.
Yeah, I thought that's actually what they were playing.
They were
okay.
Trying to chip that one and roll in.
Yeah.
And she hit it where she needed to hit it. She just a little bit more weight, and she could have got in behind cover. Now it is third shot, and Kate has to kind of protect in the middle again. It won't be comfortable for her that they left that they have to leave that red in the rings. Where I was thinking they might have wanted more weight is they didn't tap the yellow to a particularly good spot. They've got two reds they could run in on that side, and now the yellow's kind of in the way.
Yeah.
And the red yellow in the house is queued up that if you had to play one of those angle run-ins at the end of the end for a pile, they're all lined up in a good direction, except they left that yellow in the way.
Yeah, this okay.
It might be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
She might have liked a little more of the corner because that stone is just fully open. Yoshimura calling the squad down. They did not call a timeout. I do believe they're one of the teams that has a coach here, so it's just the team talking about it for now. I would imagine what they're looking at is what can they do with the Yellowstone that was just delivered, or the other option they could have is to come around from the other side through the port, play the red onto the yellow, remove the backing, and roll the shooter away to the edge of the 8-foot even behind all those guards. That's not what they're talking about right now. Right now, I think they're wondering if they can get to the inside of the yellow. Now I'm just looking at where the skip is standing. Now she's moved over to look at coming at the red direct. I think originally when they were talking about that, they were thinking about getting the hit and roll off the yellow at the top of the 4-foot, which is tough. It's there because the guard is long. And that rock that was just thrown is only a sliver underneath cover.
With the one gal standing right there on the center line, it's hard to see if she could even push where that red one might go. She just even played it quietly.
Yeah, it's probably coming. It's coming into the open likely anyway. I mean, it's a tiny port, but she's not going to be throwing a lot of weight either. She's only going to move it a few inches, you would think. That would be the scary thing to making a play on the yellow for the hit and roll, I would think, right? You could roll both reds over enough to leave room for the double.
Yeah, there we've got a timeout now.
Kind of looks like part of what they're discussing is, are we looking to roll? So assuming they can get to the inside of that yellow and kind of make the play without moving their own red, do we just try to roll right there or big?
Yeah,
if you roll to just line it up, like that's great if you line up a third one. The problem is it's hard to dead line up a third one. The other problem is it's from our angle, it really looks like it's going to be tough to make a play on that yellow without moving the red. And I don't think they want to change that angle. That angle is working really good for them right now.
However, I think if you can hit, I want to say nose, but I think the red one would push that yellow one back behind the button, and you could be sitting, potentially.
So. You're talking nose on the red or nose on the yellow?
Nose on the yellow, because I think you could be sitting 1-3-5.
I think if you hit nose on the yellow, that red is not touching the yellow on the button. They've gone back to this is the shot I was looking at originally. Come through the port, make the direct play red onto yellow, roll your shooter in behind that wall of guards. And yes, Kate's still going to have the angle on the yellow red at the 4-foot, but she's not going to have anything angled where she can roll under cover. It's funny visually from the hacks. This probably doesn't look at a big hole, but because of the stagger and the late curl, there's more room through here than it looks like there is. If you're close to the yellow guard, you're probably not getting by the yellow in the top of the 8-foot.
Yeah, I just can't say as I'm a fan of this, but.
Thought they would have more weight than this, to be honest. This is quiet. They're going to struggle to get by the top one.
Yeah, they're not getting by the top one.
That was really just draw weight, and you needed, if you were throwing that, you had to have hack. You're trying to kill the back one. It's still a problem for Kate Cameron. It's the red-yellow line in the house. There's not much she can do about that. So she's just going to guard the direct shot. She knows there's going to be some kind of run played eventually. She can't really worry about that right now. So many angles out there. It's so tough on both teams really right now. We can't guard everything. So you got to guard what looks to be the easiest shot, and then hope she doesn't make one of the angle run-ins. I think she's only got one angle run-in that can actually get there. I think the other one's kind of blocked. So
yeah. This is way out there, looking for a good finish at the end.
Needs to be way out there at this point, because there it is. You see it. Once it starts to move, it's going to move huge. They actually could chisel and get it that way too.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, the angle run-in is there, and it's even there if you hit it just right. You could double the yellows and end up sitting 3. Here's the problem: if you play it on your first shot and don't make it, you could put the steal on the board right now, because you're not going to have a shot for your last one.
Yeah, they're looking at it for sure. And while she's looking at it, her country woman on the other ice has got a 3-2 lead over Sturmey.
Very tough to get both yellows with this, but you can do it. If you drive this in at an angle where basically you almost want to touch and they're not set up to do it perfectly. They're not an exact even crotch. The yellow, when you come in from this angle, the yellow at the top of the 8-foot's just a little bit higher, but if you could almost touch the yellow and the red at the same time, the red comes onto the yellow on the button, you could send both yellows flying, and you could sit 3 out after this, and Kate Cameron might have to walk up there and hit the open one on the 12-foot just to make sure she doesn't give up 4.
God, that'd be a hell of a shot.
It would be. And the other side of that, you could make this almost perfect. Just you're only an inch off that. You could be sitting 1 after this and still no way to get in to get your second one. This is a tough shot. And it's already over curled, I think. Oh no, she's close.
No.
Just when they quit sweeping like that, I thought they were giving up on it. A little thin, catches the top one, does remove 1 yellow stone, and holds her shooter, which is important. Don't know if it stayed for third, though. There is a yellow just biting at the top of the 12 as well. One more look at it, and when they came off the brush here, it kind of looked like they were giving up. It actually needed to curl just a sliver more.
More, yeah.
It did move the yellow back far enough that she's sitting 1. She's also got third shot at the top of the 12-foot open, and then where the shooter rolled to. And I've got a menu screen sitting on top of it, so I can't see. It's hard to tell who's 4th shot. And with that guard being long, if it was Yoshimura's throw right now, she could get to that stone at the back 4-foot through this port. So Kate's going to have to come in there first, and I don't know whether this is a straight guard or I'd be tempted to come right into the rings here, even if she sits on the corner of the red stone, just to cut out those 2 red biters. I think the yellow at the top might be 4th.
4th shot, yeah. That's quite
over the one on the side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So many angles out there, though. This could get interesting. Kate Cameron needs to bring this right in, I think.
This one, the sweepers are saying it's all there.
Well, the movement will be late.
Oh, and it's
there.
Coming
There
hard
goes.
now.
There it goes. She's going to come down, sit right on top of the red stone at the top of the 4-foot. Couldn't have walked it down any better.
No, like it.
But you see what I mean about how hard it is on the nerves to call those rocks, because for most of the way down, that's on the outside of the corner guard, and you dare not sweep until it starts to curl. But when it does, you take a look at a rock that's probably still touching those red ones when it crossed the center line or the hog line,
Right.
It's over buried on the long guard. It's a sliver underneath the one on the other side of center. It's such a treat to watch and to play on. Like I said, the players will play fearless when they know that the rocks will give them the ability to make any shot they need to play.
Well, that's because every shot is in play.
Yeah, Yoshimura here, her only shot for 2 might be the double tap onto the one at the back of the forefoot. That's what they're looking at.
I don't see anything else, really.
No. And this is not without some risk.
That's right.
Although she's likely not going to be throwing it. This is probably, well, I was going to say she's probably throwing draw weight, tap, weight, and then she put the broom down where I think this has got to be close to hack then. Because if you throw it with just draw weight, if you ever hit the first one thin and it's red onto red and you come onto the one Kate Cameron just through, you're not going to have enough weight to move your shot rock through the forefoot. That'll be the 4th stone that you're pushing. You don't actually have to kill the one at the back of the forefoot. You just have to get the line to it. So you could make this as a draw weight tap. I think they've got a little bit more ice now.
You have to actually move 2 rocks. That second one's got to get to the
so
the
you
T-line.
probably need back line to almost hack to make this, but you don't need any more than that.
No, I don't think you need hack weight.
You're going to be thin on one of them.
This is more than hack.
Yeah, this is more than I thought. She's playing it to dead jam it on the one at the very back. She's close.
But it's close. She's got it. What a shot.
And for good measure, she rolls it to the back of the button on last rock. Picks up her 2 points. Outstanding double angle race. That's where all these angles were shaping up, where you were going to see somebody use one of them, and makes an outstanding shot on her final. Picks up her deuce. Closes the score to 5-4 here after 5 ends of play. It'll be Cameron with a 1-point lead in last rock when we come back.
That was a hell of a shot.
It was more weight than I thought. More weight than I would have played at it.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
I don't know about where you are, but today looks like a fall day.
I may not get to check out the window. It looks like we're going to have some exciting action here from Beaumont. The Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major. We're through 5 ends of this quarterfinal. We talked about it after the 4th end. One open end to start things off, and then, holy cow, have there been rocks in play since then. Some nice angle runs attempted last end. Just missed her first one. Yoshimura makes an outstanding double run to a stone at the back of the forefoot with her final stone to pick up the deuce. Just 1 point separating these teams as we begin play here in the 6th end. Cameron has the lead and the hammer. And we're going to see the double centers thrown here.
And with it being this late in the game, Cameron really wants to score here.
Got another look at that double raise here from the last end. Threw a little more weight than I thought she would have played. She could have played this just as a draw. There's a little bit of risk with that. She had to make sure she stayed on the outside. If she gets too much to the nose of the first one, there's a danger that she could have given up a steal. But that's how she knew how to make the angle. Hit it perfectly. Drove it dead onto the stone at the back. That's always the way it works. And the last stone where it doesn't matter if you roll behind cover, she actually spins it up in behind.
Yeah.
It gets the roll she wouldn't need at that point in time, but
that's right.
It looks
that was
pretty on camera. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so well executed. And again, knowing the angles is so important.
Yeah, that's a part of it, right? Like I would have been scared to throw it with that much weight because of the risk, but that's how she knew where she was going to hit it where she needed to. She knew that the line for that weight made it perfect. These are the kinds of ends I love to watch too, because it's all down to since the free guard zone came in and through all of the iterations, but especially in the 5 rock, there's more than one way to play now. Like you go back, and I haven't asked you how old you are, Terry. I'm 57. I started at a generation where there were no free guards, and in a lot of cases,
you're still a pup.
So you know what I'm talking about. Before the free guard zone, in a lot of cases, there was no choice. There was only one shot. You had to play it, and now there's choices as to how they're playing it. So when they get into an end like this, where there's already some rocks in play, it's always interesting to watch the cat and mouse. How do each team want to manipulate those rocks in the rings to try to get some angles? When will they make their move in the house? Because the timing matters. You go too early, the other team gets too many chances to bail out.
That's right.
You go too late, well, it's too late. It's really fun to watch how the teams approach it, because there's not just one way. We can debate all day and say, I would play this, you might play that. Neither one of them's wrong. It's what you can make and what you can leave. Bit of a miscue there.
Yeah. After all those really good quality shots, a wide open hit, it basically gets gassed.
Yeah, Shot Rock is the Yellowstone belonging to Cameron at the back of the 8-foot, but Yoshimura ignoring it for now, trying to get one around cover in front of the tee line if they can. Nice line coming by, and will slide just to the back of the 4-foot. Even a shot like that, there's the difference between last rock and first rock. If you've got last rock there, you desperately want that stone in front of the tee line. Without last rock, the top priority is get it buried. And if they come to the back of the tee line, ideally it would have been in front of the tee line, but they're okay if Cameron just freezes to that.
Yeah. Now we're going to try and do a cleanup on aisle 5.
She was looking to get that on enough of an angle to get a couple of reds moving. Not sure that was the one she was looking for second, but it works out. Left the shooter up for a long guard, but a long guard by itself doesn't really cover much.
That's right, yeah.
Somebody I was working with yesterday phrased it perfectly. He says all you can use a long guard for on this ice is to guard the short guard, which is exactly why teams play the double guards, right?
That's right. That's right. And just looking ahead, I'm sure Kate's also looked at the possibility of that cross-ice double there, and
Yeah, just the way they're angled, I think it's coming onto the back yellow if she has to play
it probably is. But at least it's an out, potentially.
Yoshimura looked at her options as well, but they're going to look to replace the tight guard.
Yeah.
Try to get this under the yellow as much as they can so that the double peel's not easy, maybe not even an option. This looks like it might have a lot of weight, though. Well, they needed to make a decision here where they try to come by, and they might have been better off to come by. That chisels off. It might have stopped just in time. I don't think if she drives it by the yellow, it'll catch the red in the rings. It looks like, to me, it would.
Yeah.
If she misses the yellow, she's missing the red too. But boy, if that rolls another inch, she leaves her a double. So Kate's going to look for the play on the guard again. And it looks like she's trying to run it into the middle. So I'd be tempted here to run it towards that stone on the edge of the 8-foot. Make sure you roll your shooter out of the way. And if you ever stuck it on that stone on the edge of the 8-foot, you're in great shape.
And I think she saw that and actually put that in as an option.
This is close to that.
Yeah, very close.
Oh, just over the top of it. So for Yoshimura, no guards now. She's got to protect a little bit and really likely has to guard the yellow stone because a nose hit on the yellow would get to shot rock. And I don't think there's a double available on the red one.
And she's currently sitting 2, is she not?
I thought it was just 1. I thought the yellow at the back was second shot over the red at the side.
Oh yeah, that's true. I see the yellow now.
There's the look from the overhead. Yeah, the yellow at the back is second over the red at the side.
Yeah.
Now that long angle run on the one in the corner is still there, but now it's a red that you're running in, so unless you spill them both, it doesn't really help you. I mean, it's still peel the guard, which is probably still the call here.
There's a bunch of options here by playing this, I think. You'd run this chisel like there you go. That's what I was talking about. That I just didn't get out of my mouth.
Sometimes it would be easier to draw, but they haven't invested in Telestrator for us yet.
I know. I'm going, how do I explain that?
There's so many angles.
Yeah.
One more look at it. Comes straight back on the guard. It'll clip the red stone at the top of the 8-foot. That means the run back stone comes across the top of the stone on the yellow and pushes it more or less straight back. Kills shot rock, and the yellow hangs around at the edge of the 12-foot at the back too.
Yeah, that's so important.
We're on to skip stones here in the 6th end. Yoshimura looking to make the hit. And I didn't see the indication. She could play the double. It's definitely there. She doesn't have to because she's going to sit 2 even if she just hits this and stays right there. I don't think she wants to roll behind cover because that might leave a double back to sit 2.
And depending on where this ends up, it could be interesting what Kate decides to do.
Boy, this looks like they're thinking about rolling behind cover. Oh no, they're just going to get the nose. That's what I had been looking at. Nose or even roll towards that. No double there now because it's going to go into the yellow for sure. Now, if you're Kate Cameron and you know you're going to get forced, Why not come around the guard and get forced to 2?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's now can you make a skip's deuce? Or are you just going to, make sure that you can leave as much ice available for that draw for 1?
She's still looking at hitting something. I'm surprised they haven't discussed the option of the draw.
I'm sure they're probably saying that guard is so high up there that no matter where we put it, it will be a relatively easy shot to sit 3 for the Japanese team. That I think now they're kind of looking at that whole philosophy of, if I'm sitting, the worst I can do if I play the hit is I'll be down, and this is the absolute worst. We'll be down 2 or 1. Sorry.
Yeah, I think they may have
With
settled
the
on the draw. And
Yeah.
I like the draw because you can get this, and they even tapped it. We're going to use the dinosaur. You could put it right on the dinosaur's nostril at the top of the 8. You'd be shot rock, and there is a chance that if Yoshimura goes after it, she's got a rock she could jam it on. You don't have to be any deeper than that. You just have to be deep enough to be shot rock buried.
Yeah, I would think almost, leaving a piece of this for your opponent would be better than being perfectly buried.
Broom side, if anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that stone on the other side is deeper. That's the one
Yeah.
that's got a better chance of jamming on. You want to make her play it from this same side if you can.
Yeah.
Looks like a lot of room, but it's going to curl. The bigger problem is now it's looking like it's digging in. It looked to me like a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's T-line.
It's definitely deeper than she needed to be. It is shot rock, and it is dead
Yeah.
buried. But that guard is high. There is a lot of finish, as we've said. Yoshimura tapped the ice just behind the back line, so looks like she's going to try to throw just enough weight to move it. She doesn't actually need to kill it. If she gets it out of the 8-foot, she'll be sitting 3.
That's right, yeah.
If she could get to the nose with that kind of weight, she would also shrink the scoring area a little bit. Kate would have to play a similar shot. She'd probably need to take more ice to make sure she gets by the red one.
Yeah. This is where the sweepers are so critical too. Not only with their sweeping, but communicating kind of the weight down to the vise.
Yoshimura trailing by 1, a chance to come down with quiet weight. Make the play on shot rock, perhaps sit 3 after this.
And this is looking really good.
Once they're by, you'll see them either get off or look to sweep from the other side for curl. She'll get enough to pass it through.
Sits 3. Good shot.
Kate simply puts the broom down for the quiet hit on the one that was just thrown. She'll try to hit it on the nose, pick up her single that way. Yoshimura, that angle that she's got on the red-yellow at the back, helping her quite a bit too, because there could be a triple there if it wasn't for the fact that yellow's there. it jams if you try the triple.
Given the stage of the game, I'm sure Kate's going to be quite happy to get her one and play 8. Play 7, sorry.
As good of a hitter as Kate is, if she didn't have to risk the jam at the back, she might take a run at the triple. She's as high percentage as anybody to make that shot if it's there.
Yeah. She's fine.
Makes the hit, rolls into the second shot stone. Kate Cameron picks up her single here in 6. She takes a 2-point lead into the 7th. Yoshimura with last rock when we come back.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
They may be late.
Yeah.
We're just speculating here amongst ourselves whether or not the next draw is going to be on time. Semifinals scheduled for 12 noon, but we still don't know who's playing in it. And dare say it's probably going to be at least 2 more ends until we find out, and it might be 3.
Yeah.
The way this game has gone, it's been a very entertaining game. I think the only thing that could happen here where I'd be fairly confident we're not going to play an extra end is if Yoshimura scored 2 in this end.
Yes. Wow, you really went out on a limb.
Anything else, and I think an extra end's a possibility. First stone of this 7th end brought into the rings. You see the corner guard go up from Yoshimura's team. Kate Cameron now calling for another stone towards the middle. Called for it as a tight guard. I don't think they'd be disappointed if this came into the rings.
Yeah, me either.
And I say that mostly because I don't think Yoshimura would hit it yet.
No, I don't think so either. Prior to the 5-guard rule, I mean, it was always a challenge. How do you place end number 7? You know, with the score the way it is.
Yeah. I think Yoshimura probably has to play for her deuce here and maybe get a chance for 3 and get that opportunity. You could do that coming home too, but tied up coming home without, as much as it's not a great position to be in, with the 5-rock free guard zone and now the no tick zone as well, it's as close to 50-50 as it's ever been, right? So
yes,
you give yourself a chance. You don't want to go so risky here that you give up a steal and then you're really in trouble coming home.
Yeah, that new rule has really, added another dimension to curling, especially in the 8th end.
Not able to get around the guard, trying to come around the corner just rubs off, so the shooter out in the open. Chance for Brianna Cullen to make a play on it, try to roll back towards the center.
here will be good too.
Rolls into corner frozen on her own stone. This part of the game has never changed, free guard or not. You know, the team without last rock wants to play the end in the middle of the house. The team with last rock would like to play it on the corners.
Yes.
She's got a little work to do to get the play away from the middle right now. Looking at trying to jiggle those two yellows out from behind the guard right now, and you saw her indicate, you know, board weight. She wants to keep her shooter as well. That's, you know, she could blast the double on the two yellows out of the rings, but she's losing her shooter if she does that.
Yeah, and the shooter really needs to stick around here.
Yeah.
We're talking about board, but she tapped her foot there, indicating that maybe hack weight.
That might be hack, yeah. So not even necessarily going to kill either of these Yellowstones, but more worried about where she can leave her shooter. She's got to break that angle on the yellows and try to get them out from behind cover. Boy, they have to be careful. This is a 6 stone.
Wow.
They're okay. Just touches the guard though. Those are just the worst feeling. You've touched the guard, but not enough to get it out of the way, and still missed the rocks in the house.
Now does Kate get rid of that corner guard? Yeah.
That would be. You'd sure have to think about it, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
She asked about the option to come right around everything, but I don't think she got the answer.
Yeah.
we could do this, but I don't think any of the four of them was sold on that idea, because it didn't take them long to go back to peel the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a bonus. She might get a biter out of this. You know, it's early in the end, and that doesn't seem like a big thing, but that biter at the top 12 could be the rock that takes away a blank opportunity this end. And that can influence the calls. Like, Yoshimura still has to deal with these two yellows at the top of the 8 foot that are staggered. That's why she's playing this. But if she knows she's going to get forced anyway, she might have to play a little bit more aggressively this end and try to get her two.
Yeah, I would think, and I think Kate would have preferred that thing roll right out of there, to be honest.
Hey, well, maybe. I don't think she'll mind having it as a biter in the 12. Now, can they hang the shooter around? And they do.
That was so important to keep that shooter in play. But
it's
looks
fourth, though.
Looks like Kate's, 1, 2, 3.
So she doesn't actually have to play it. I like this call. She's going to put some pressure on here. Yoshimura would like to play offense, and she's going to have to clean up some yellows. So keep her busy hitting. This is almost too tight by the guard. They can't really go, or it'll come out in the open.
Yeah.
Just bites a sliver of the 4 foot. Probably ended up in a good enough spot that you couldn't hit and roll off the back one behind cover.
Yeah, that'd be a tough shot, man.
She could come off the one lone yellow rock on the other side of the sheet, play the hit and roll into shot rock.
Yep.
But now the position of that Yellowstone that was just delivered might be available for a short run back. So they're going to make a play on the stone that was just delivered first by the looks of it. Two things to consider with this shot. We can make it to get it through, but where do we want to leave the shooter? That's probably the more important part than where the yellow goes. You could roll dead in front of the yellow shot rock, or you could roll past that in behind the one that's just biting the 12-foot. Looks like she wants to play this with quiet weight too, and maybe just set up a wall of yellows at the back.
Yeah, she's called for back line, so. This is going to be tight to the guard.
I think it's going to be that tight to the guard where you hear it chink off of it. Actually came across and touched that yellow at the top of the 12-foot a little further into the rings.
Yeah.
I think both teams were pretty sure it was fourth already. It looked like it was to me.
Mm-hmm.
Move the center guard a little bit, though. So now you could actually make the double in the roll behind cover. Kate Cameron knows that. How do we want to address it?
If you're Kate, you're probably thinking, there's a lot of rocks in play here, and I'm going to add to it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's in a tough spot. She can't, I mean, right now there's the double in the roll behind covers there. She can't guard it because they can play the double off the one on the other side, roll into the, and now your guard will mean that you can't make a play on the redstone. This is a little scary too, though, because it would be really easy to leave a triple playing this draw.
This has got all the weight that it needs. That's, right to the tee line.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it didn't leave the triple in the roll. Certainly you could touch all three and get the roll. You might just dead jam one of them, but it would be out in the open. You saw the gesture. She's going to have to hit this just off the nose. And she's going to have to hit it with a little bit of weight because she's hitting fairly close to the nose. If she wants to get the roll behind cover, she'll just catch a thin sliver of the stone that was just delivered. And it could come across and get the third one going across the top. And you'd like to roll your shooter behind cover.
Yeah, we've gone from, we'd like to get to this and to, like, we need to score one.
Oh, if she makes the triple and rolls behind, 2 is still in play and 3's not out of the question.
So this is the third last rock.
Needs to be really close to the nose. I think
it's on the guard. Oh, wow. Look what I found.
Yeah. Yeah. Rubbed the guard, hit another stone, came back, ends up killing the second shot stone. Now, do you have to play it if you're Kate? The instinct is you just go to hit that stone because it's open, but what could she do with it? Like if she can't make the double on the yellows anymore, it's coming into the red.
But if it's second shot, I think she's got to kill it.
Okay. Why?
Don't ask me those.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I think she has to kill it because what's left for the
True.
Japanese gal is the, kind of the freeze, and you just don't want to leave that rock in play as being second shot. At least I don't think that would be where I would go. I wouldn't mind hitting and spilling right out.
Yeah, it's hard to see a good angle in there for Yoshimura now to get it. She's got to make some yellows go away. She's only got 2 shots left, and how do you do that and get behind cover now?
Yeah, and she's almost got this nosed. Yeah, she knows. I'd like to be making lemonade right now, so I'd be good.
Yeah, it's tough with this late in the end. I mean,
yeah,
you could try to play just a tap on that yellow and leave a wall. The problem is you'd still only be 5th shot and not enough time to get rid of all the yellows. Any kind of hit, your shooter's going to be open.
Yeah.
Not really seeing much else. Is she?
Neither do I.
Well, and she's standing where she's looking at the double. The double doesn't help you because you're still sitting 3rd, and there's no double available in the other 2.
But
I don't mind that double.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you make that double, I think you tick the yellow that's on the right-hand side of our screen.
Maybe, yeah, the back end of it, yeah.
Yeah, but again, that yellow that's half in the 12-foot up top on the right-hand side outcounts the one on the back, so I don't think you're looking at 2 anymore, really.
So I think she's playing the double to the stone on the other side of the 4-foot.
I do too, yeah.
Now, you might almost make the triple at this, although that yellow, the first one is going to hit the yellow at the side of the 8-foot, although it might drive it straight into that red catcher at the side anyway. Doesn't really matter what happens with those. The most important thing here is to give yourself an open shot for the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, this end just hasn't worked out for the Japanese team.
No, they were just not able to get an angle. Kate Cameron kept putting the pressure on. She never really got a chance to use the corners either. She had to try to address the rocks in the middle and just never was able to do that. A couple of rubs on guards that you wouldn't have expected with the weight they were throwing.
So this is her first shot. It's humming. This looks pretty close to that double that we talked about, Shawn.
Comes across now. Can she spin up behind the cover? She got 4 of them moving.
Look at this! Wow.
That was a bonus. I knew that the triple might be there. Now, it did come into the rock in the side, and they lost the one biter. But she actually gets all 4 of them moving here. Take one more look at it. Hits the first one, rattles it between those 2 yellows. It did catch the red off the side. Actually rattled between those 2 yellows solid enough. That's the stone that stayed in the back of the 12-foot for shot rock.
I guess Kate's options are draw and sit 2 or just run this through and she'll still sit 2.
Yeah, doesn't need to stay here. And that looks like tight ice, but keep in mind, Kate's got that little motion on her out turn, so she'll take a little bit of negative ice when she's trying to play this hit.
Yeah.
Oh, it might not have.
She's got it.
Yeah, she's good.
Fine,
Makes the hit. The shooter rolls out. She sits 2. Yoshimura has a lot of room to score her single point here, and it didn't look like she was going to until she made that fantastic shot on her first.
That's right. And Team Cameron, you know, they've got to be really happy with, you know, what they've left the Japanese team here for her last shot.
Oh, absolutely. If you'd asked them before the end started, could we be 1-up with last rock coming home? They're pretty happy with that.
Yes.
It looked like they might have had a chance for a steal. And if she doesn't make at least the triple there, maybe they're throwing a guard and trying to steal with the last one.
Yeah.
So,
throwing the out-turn draw here. Sweepers haven't jumped on this, but they've been keeping it clean. Looks good. And we got a 6-5 game.
Yoshimura with the single point. She's down by 1. Kate Cameron will have last rock coming home.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
Well, at least one more end here to figure out who's going to move through to the semifinal. Quarterfinal action here. Kate Cameron qualified through the B. Sayaka Yoshimura through the C. We've had an outstanding game here this morning. The winner moves on to play Ruai Wang in the semifinal. That game's scheduled for 12 noon local time. We're at 11:15 with an end left to play. So likely that the semifinals will be a little bit late starting, but just stick with us here on the Curling Zone YouTube channels, as well as the Alberta Curling Series YouTube channels. You'll find it. We'll have all the action whatever time the game starts. Here from the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major. Shawn, Joyce, Terry, Corbin with you here this morning. We've been happy to bring an outstanding game to you. Boy, there's been a lot of angles to look at. Some great shot making. Got an interesting final end set up. The long center guard first was an intentional call. The Yellowstone stopping short of the rings was a bit of an oops.
Yeah, that was a yikes, yeah.
And it made for just a little bit of head scratching here for Yoshimura. She needs to steal a point here, and it's tougher to throw the third guard now, but I don't think you want this red into the rings yet. So they're going to look for the tight center guard from the in-turn side.
It's a little bit
yeah, that's pretty good.
short.
Well, they had to be calling a guard there. You come in, she could peel it. Kate Cameron can peel her own guard. but it's not an easy shot right now just because of the way they're sitting. So they're going to look to come around again.
Looks all there. And there goes the curl.
Yeah, they might have to make a decision if this is going to be behind the tee
Yeah,
line.
it's going to be behind the tee line.
Yeah, and that's just about the worst place you could leave it. If you think it's going to be behind the tee line, you'd be better off to sweep it to the back 8.
Yeah.
4 rocks down. Yoshimura has 3 center guards and a rock right behind the button. She couldn't have asked for more to work with here.
That's right. That's right.
Even this would be greedy if you were asking for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Three guards and a rock right behind the button.
And I like her call here coming this way. You might be tempted to come the other way, but the angle that you could set up if you're just not quite behind is much better this way.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Terry. It kind of looks like the more natural just because of the yellows peeking out a little bit that way, but the way this ice is run all week, or for 2 weeks really, because the men were here last weekend, it's just, it doesn't matter. You can get there from either turn. And
that's right.
On this turn, here is a good example of it. She's a little bit short and she's still dead buried. That's a pretty good rock.
Yeah.
Kate Cameron did that quick skips count to 5 and said, yep, we can start hitting things now. Now, these are lined up with a little bit of angle. If she's just a little off the nose on the ridge, she could maybe get all 3 guards here with one shot.
There's going to be a guard definitely still. Yeah,
she overcurled
a whole lot.
She needed to hit it off the center across the face of the yellow and might have got all 3 and at least rolled her shooter off the center line a bit. Leaves 2 lined up on the center.
Yeah. And again, I mean, the ice being so good, I don't think, the Japanese team has to be in a hurry to, get shot rock. Like you've got, both sides of the ice are open.
Yeah, and there's not it's not a real easy double peel because of the distance between those 2 guards. So.
I think there's sometimes a tendency to try and, make a good situation better.
So they're going to play basically the same draw. Come down, try to tap their own up to Frozen on the Yellowstone. And this is one where if you're a little light and just freeze the red and line them both up to the yellow, that's a good result too. I don't think you ever want to be heavy. You don't want to splash these so that there's an escape route for the red stone. You want to leave it frozen on top of the yellow.
Exactly.
Or short of it. You don't want to move that yellow.
Yeah, this looks like they're going to be moving this looks heavy.
Right now it doesn't look like they're going to be moving anything.
Maybe the hack.
Gets the tap, but so thin. That's just too much weight.
Yeah, I think definitely the tolerance was light for that one versus heavy.
So time for the conversation because it's hard. You peel the guard and there is a pocket in that yellow-red. It's hard to peel a duffel guard. So do you have to switch to offense here? Do you play the hit and roll on top of your own?
Gee whiz, good question.
It's hard to just leave that pocket there.
I know.
The long guard does belong to Kate Cameron. So if she's running it onto something, it's her own stone. So she could try the straight back double peel. That's tough because of distance. She could run it towards the stone on the quarter of the 8-foot, and if you stick it out there,
I'd be inclined to play the run back myself, but
she's playing the guard with that much ice. I think she's just trying to peel it towards that stone on the edge of the 8-foot. And again, I mean, you're 1 point up here. It's not that you need to score, but if you could stick a stone out there that's your own, that might be something you could use at the end to come off of it. So that's the bonus. If she sticks it out there, it's not because she's trying to score 2. It's because she might be able to come off it at the end.
Yeah, I certainly this is really current, but this is going to get the other. No,
it's going to get nothing and stays there.
Yeah, that's why I would have been very okay with just running that rock right off and say now your turn.
I didn't notice the release, but I mean with the weight she threw where the broom was, I'm surprised that curled that much.
Yeah.
Don't know if she maybe got it started.
I think sometimes on those interns like that, like you can point them. You get just a little bit full, and then you point it, and they do take off a bit more than they would if you kind of had a really good release.
I thought you might see Yoshimura look to come around from the other side. She's going to stick to the same shot they've been playing. She can get directly to the shot rock this way. She could get into the pocket playing it the other way. And, in the back of your mind, Yoshimura needs 1 here to get to an extra end. But the way things are setting up right now on the 4-foot, there might be the possibility to steal 2.
That's true. I mean, and this looks good. I mean, my temptation would have been on this shot to play that other turn, but this is just a dynamite shot. I had trouble saying that.
Yeah. Now the question is whether or not Kate Cameron wants to start playing in the house this early, but there's probably, even with the guard there, there's probably a double if she wanted to take it on. There's no reason to do it this early. You peel the guard, Yoshimura probably has to put it back at least once, maybe twice.
I don't think she would have many other options, really.
Yeah, well, short of coming in and playing that same tap onto the freeze, but and I don't think you do that this early. This is fun. This is another. It's that fun that I was talking about, where you watch the cat and mouse and watch the teams having to decide when they're going to make their move into the rings. Now you saw her tap the pocket. It's not that she's thinking of freezing. It's that's what she needs to guard, because that pocket allows Kate Cameron to make it double.
That's right.
It's not even a great situation for Kate Cameron. If they guard that pocket but come too tight, it's not even a great situation to try to make the double peel, because the second guard is coming back into those ones in the 4-foot. And if you lose that one off the back of the 4-foot and leave them top 4-foot with 2 or 3 rocks, she can guard. So it might not be a situation where you can even afford to play the double peel.
I think this is pretty good.
So her third last stone, just playing the peel on the guard again. Towards that red on the side of the 8-foot. There's still the possibility if she could ever stick one over there. It's too far back in the house for her to come off it now. This looks like she's trying the double peel here.
This is
clips it and thin enough to drive it over the top of everything. Okay, now what do you do if you're Yoshimura? I do think the red is shot rock, so she might have to guard that double possibility one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can guard the double,
I think she's right. I mean, she's got to guard that pocket
yeah,
again.
and then presumably Kate Cameron has to peel it out.
She
because
does.
She can't get to shot rock. Do you do that again with your last one?
Well, I'm gonna wait to see what happens, but I'm gonna say almost.
Well, let me put it this way to you. If this was Yoshimura's last rock, are you still just guarding the pocket? I think if you guard the pocket, you're stealing, right? But you're
would
only
guard
stealing
the
one.
pocket. Yeah, that's 100%. But I mean, if you don't guard the pocket, you may not be stealing one. You may be giving up one. So I mean, that's all Kate needs. So
Now, the other option is you can come down with draw weight and just tap red onto yellow. You only have to move it a few inches. You'd be sitting 3, and if you can keep them angled, like, what does she have?
we're about to find out.
Well, yeah, I think Kate's got to peel this guard, and then we'll see what Yoshimura wants to do with her last one.
Yeah, because this is gonna guard that. It would be tempting to come right in.
Boy, it's scary to come right in, though.
I know.
She's got to kill the yellow one at the back to create an escape route, and I get that. Here's the problem: you're going to be facing 2. Like, I don't think you're getting that red out of the 4-foot, and your shooter's going to be up high enough that the one on the side of the 4-foot's second. Like, you play this now to make sure you got a shot to score. The problem is you might be facing the loss with your last one.
I mean, I look at this and, like, how does she doesn't sit 1 after this shot?
No. But if you peel the guard, Yoshimura throws the guard again, and you have to go to an extra end. And Yoshimura would have the option to maybe just come down, tap that, stay frozen, and sit 3, and you got to make a double just to get to an extra end. Like, it's not a comfortable shot for Kate. She's going to have to leave them sitting 2 after this, but she almost has to move these now to make sure she's got a chance to score it all.
This is so well thrown. It's not funny.
Did exactly what she had to do.
Yeah.
I still feel like we're headed to an extra. Yoshimura likely has to guard that. And then Kate Cameron might have to make a choice. Like, she could play a run. If she can hit the yellow anywhere, it's going on to the reds behind it. Or she could just pick the one out of the side of the 4-foot and play the extra end.
Well, if they throw the so-called guard even in the house, I think Kate probably is throwing that intern, is she not?
Probably. Like, the only way she's got anything to run back, and that's why they're looking so carefully at where they want to position this guard. If they can overlap the 2 reds, the one that's already there and the one they're about to throw, she won't have anything to run in. There might be, now looking again at that red out on the edge of the 8-foot.
Yeah.
Could you make the triple off that? Keep in mind where it is when you make contact. You're in front, come straight sideways, and you know Kate Cameron can throw it hard enough to make that shot. You come into the one at the side of the button. Actually, I don't even think you need to clip the 3rd one. If you stay right there, I think your shooter is shot rock. But if you ever hit it too thick and you don't get over there, or too thin and go under it, hard to get under it, I think, when they're that close together. But I don't know if she would play that, because if you give up the steal of 2, you lose. Would you ever risk trying to hit the red at the side of the 4-foot, hit it thin enough to try to clip the shot rock? Because then you're flirting with missing it too.
Yeah, I know. I think she just wants to make sure she guards this.
Well, and the overlap. I think she's afraid, and probably with good reason, that if you leave one of those reds available to run back, that Kate Cameron might play it.
That's right. I think she just wants to get underneath it. Yes. So
just needs a little overlap, just so that
right,
neither red can be run back.
That's right. This is to the at least to the rings, because I got 14-3.
Yeah, too much weight and still a lot of line. I think it's there if she wants to play it. She doesn't have to whip it either. I mean, you got to get as close to the nose as you can.
Mm-hmm.
The danger is you rub the guard, you lose.
You do, but I think this is the shot.
Yeah.
She didn't waste much time. She's been looking at this scenario since the Japanese team went down to throw this last rock. So this is
close enough together. She doesn't have to hit it right on the beak either. She could probably hit 3/4 and it's still gonna.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Half might even touch it.
Yeah. Would have if I'm the Japanese team, I would have liked that certainly.
Yeah.
Out a little further.
So Kate Cameron with her final stone. She's got a 1-point lead, facing 2, looking for the short double run. Red onto yellow.
This has got a
onto
curl
something
right
in
now.
the rings.
This has got a curl right now.
It's close.
Here
it's real close.
Yeah. She's got it.
Red
Very
onto
well
yellow,
done.
onto shot. Sticks right there. Kate Cameron punches her ticket.
I hope she's not punching her chin.
Tongue's not working well, and there's still 2 games left. Punches her ticket through to the semifinal, where she will face Ruai Wang. That game scheduled in about 25 minutes' time. Again, expect that we might be a little bit late, but stick with us here on the Curling Stadium Beaumont. We will have all the action, all the games, commentary on all of the games going forward for the rest of the day as well. Through to the championship scheduled for 3 o'clock this afternoon. Shawn, Joyce, Terry Corbin, we were glad to bring this game to you, hoping we've got a couple more like that yet to come today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again for the semifinal.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.